OFFStage.
Hi, I'm Reginald Prince, and this is OFFStage. Damita Chandler exploded on the scene as Damita Hatton in the late 90s, the young golden girl on stage, sparkling next to gospel sensation Deitrick Haddon. Her divorce from her superstar husband left a lot of people talking and wondering what would be next for her. Well, today the wondering is over. It's clear that Damita is still moving in a positive direction, with a gift that is sure to keep her on stage doing what she does best, inspiring people through her music. Ladies and gentlemen, today we welcome Miss Damita Chandler. It is so nice to meet you.
You ain't just met me, I know you.
You don't know me, shout. No, really, we met a few weeks ago, actually.
We did.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Nah.
All right. So what's been up? Where have you been? What's been going on with you?
Well, just being a newlywed, being
Right.
married is
Because you
enough.
recently remarried.
Absolutely.
May 3rd.
Absolutely.
To professional photographer, Ruben
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes. Just been, readjusting and working on brand new projects. Okay. Yay, everybody. And it's more so taking a different turn. I would call it inspirational life music, and really just letting people hear what I've been through my music, and I think it's going to really inspire a lot of people.
Still with Ty Scott, because your last release, Anticipation, was with Ty Scott, right?
Yeah, the last project was on Ty Scott, but that was the last record.
Yeah, your last record.
The last one. I was thinking about, re-signing again and things like that, but I kind of want to expand. I kind of feel like I've grown. And I know what I want to do, and I want to take the reins and control it. I love different sounds. I love different genres of music. So I'm just taking time to make sure that when it does come out, that it is the right thing and that it's not just appealing to one audience.
Your new music is not just going to be geared toward the church.
Absolutely not, because just as believers, as a believer, as a Christian, we're faced with just as many challenges as anybody else who's not in the church.
Right.
You deal with financial problems, you deal with, illnesses, you deal with relationship problems, you deal with all kind of stuff. So I think that as a believer, it is my duty to minister to more than just people in the church. Of course, you can't deal with everything in one record or one CD, but I want to kind of just deal with relationships right now.
Awesome ring, by the way. I met you guys, you and your husband, a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
And the first thing I noticed right off the bat is that you guys seem like best friends.
We are. We made up in our mind that we would really just make sure that the relationship would remain, as friends. We laugh more than we do anything, and we've been friends for a very, very long time. When God brought him back into my life, about a year and a half ago, things just really, really took off very, very fast. It didn't take long, and I think that was a great moment, and it was great timing. I don't believe that I would be in this place had it been someone that I didn't know, had it been someone I had to get to know and go through learning, who they were. Yeah. So yeah, we're great friends. We fuss, okay? We fuss, we argue, we fight, we do all of that, but for the most part, we are best friends.
Most times when you meet someone for the first time, the first 6 months you only meet the representative.
Yeah.
And after the 6 month period, maybe 6 months to a year, then the real person shows up. Yeah. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. Yeah. Now that ain't that's not who I met. Yeah. Being friends, having that foundation first is what will keep you guys.
It is. And being honest, being just, having everything out on the table. You learn what to do, what not to do. Right. You know what I'm saying? You learn those things. Like I was telling Keon, who works on my team, shout out to Keon. We were just talking about relationships and issues. If two people come into the relationship and you both have the same perspective, you both have the same goals, you both have the same mind, and understand that there are going to be difficulties, there are going to be arguments and disagreements, but if you're on the same page and say, no matter what happens or no matter what goes down, that we're in it to win it.
What lessons did you learn specifically that you will take from your previous marriage to this marriage?
I learned that marriage is for grown folks, and you have to be mature, and it's so different from dating. You fall out, and you go to your house, I go to my house. We can do, and we don't have to talk. You don't have to explain anything. I can stand my ground and not change. But no, marriage. Those vows are sacred. Those vows mean exactly what they say, meaning that I can get mad at you, we can get ticked off, but you ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. Like, work it out.
I think a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages fail because it's the attitude towards it is if it doesn't work,
it's horrible.
Then I can go end it. It's work. Like, it's not the fairy tale that you see in movies.
It's not.
It's not that every day. Every day ain't sunshine.
It's not.
It's some rain. It's some storms. It's some dark clouds. There's some times when you don't like the person. I'm just being real. It's sometimes that you do not like the person. You know what I mean? And it's the foundation of friendship. It's the love. Honoring the commitment that the two of you made.
The moment you feel like you're in control and this is your marriage, it's over. It's done. But when you constantly keep God in the forefront and you're like, God, you take control of this situation. And from a woman's perspective, I can say, God, help me to be the wife that I need to be to this man. And he says, God, help me to be the husband that I need to be to this woman. God, help me to understand in every situation where I feel like my mind or my thoughts want to take control. I constantly consult God. I mean, I've never consulted God so much in my life than in this season. Everything has to be God-led.
What do you think happens when both parties in the relationship are God-fearing and say that they have the foundation of God and there's still a split? Not that there's not ever going to be trouble in a relationship, because it is, but it doesn't survive that trouble.
Life happens. It's not an excuse. When you love God, things still happen in relationship. You missed God.
Right.
And I call it the blame game because a lot of times in Christian divorces, we always try to find a way to blame the person, but never want to take responsibility and ownership on what you did. And I was the first one to say, amongst my peers, amongst my family, and apologize to people that, irregardless of what truths or what lies were told. My ex went out on social media and did a few, so it's not bashing because it's an open situation. He went on social media and just did this full out slaughter. It wasn't just me that was being slaughtered, but everybody else that was innocent that did not even need to be brought in a situation suffered the situation. So at that place, you missed God somewhere, and you got to understand that irregardless whether you were the one that created the problem in the marriage, there was something that you contributed. Can marriages come back together? Absolutely. I've heard numerous stories of people that have gotten divorced and they came back together and they were married their spouses, but in this case that wasn't my story. It takes two people to make that agreement happen. One person can't make it happen. I can't be fasting and praying and the other person has moved on with their life and created another family. You said, God, don't work it out. No, that person has gotten me married again. Let's have common sense. Because I had people telling me that. They were like, God's gonna fix it. And I'm saying to myself, this man has had a child and moved on and this or the other. There's no way in heaven that's gonna happen. I had to come to grips and say, whatever, it's in God's plan. God allowed it to happen. No, God did not cause it, because we as people have to have a responsibility to say, no, I caused this to happen. God didn't cause it to happen. But God, you allowed it for a reason. Because if we were supposed to be back together, it would have happened. So I said, God, okay, now what do I do from this point on? He said, you forgive, you let go, you wish the best, you keep your mouth closed. You don't spit venom, you don't sling mud, you allow me to be God. And in the process, he said, I can't be God if you're trying to vindicate yourself. If you're trying to show people, oh, they lied says no. He said, you shut up, you be quiet, you let me mature you, you let me deal with you, you be healed, you be made whole, you be made complete, and let me be glorified in your life. And that's what I did. Now in my life, I'm much more mature, I'm much more seasoned. Things that would have ruffled my feathers years ago, it's like, I'm looking at the bigger picture now, like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And I vowed to that man and said, I will not leave you. I will not. I got your back. I'm in it for the long haul. Like nothing you do, no argument too big that we cannot sit down and talk about this. If we got the same mentality and you willing to work this out and we willing to ride or die to the end, like I got your back. I know you're going to make mistakes. You know I'm going to make mistakes, but we vow we're not going nowhere.
That right there is like... That right there is probably one of the most significant things that makes a marriage successful, is going into it saying, hey, this is for life. There is no out.
Ain't no out.
You know, you don't get mad.
It's like the mob.
Yeah, right.
Get out of this, you got to die.
Right.
And I take that scripture when it says, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. He ain't talking about just the outside man. He's talking about me. I can't even let myself stand in the way of separating this. You can, you know, as the husband, he cannot allow himself not. So we think outside forces, let no man, you know, put us on. No, he means you. He means you, your flesh, yourself, your ways. And so at that point, I got this mentality in the relationship. I was like, God, this is your marriage. You put it together. Meaning that when I feel like I got control of this, and I'm, no, wait a minute. And I've learned now to check myself, to check my motives, to check my thoughts.
Is there anything that you wanted to say that you felt like you couldn't say while going through the divorce process that you now feel free that you can say?
There were a lot of things I wanted to say. Oh yeah. As an African-American woman, there were, honestly, but I don't think that they were appropriate. I will always remain integral. I will always remain a representative to the best of my ability to uphold the kingdom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I would have been acting out of emotion, out of pain, out of devastation and vindication. And so because of the nature and the content of the whole, I still will remain positive to those that have been following me and supporting me. You know, I really thank God for people that were sensitive enough to understand the situation, people that were sensitive enough and that were godly enough to pray instead of talk, and just to reach out. I mean, divorce is not easy. At all. You think about everything you've invested and the years that you've put in and the bond and the connection, and it just tears you apart. And on top of that, it was more than just a divorce for me. My mother had passed at the same time, so it was like losing two people at one time. It was devastating. So even though there was a lot of stuff going on social media and a lot of people that were picking sides, I chose to stay around those that loved me, and those that supported me, and those that prayed with me and prayed for me, for my health, for my sanity.
When we experience losing someone to, you know, transitioning, or losing a relationship, a loved one, both experiences are very much a death in a sense.
And both death,
you know, and you have to go through this grieving process, and it is very important that you surround yourself around positive people, people that, like you said, are not choosing sides, but are just there to support you, and sometimes not saying anything.
Nothing.
Just there to hold you up. That's awesome that you have that support around you, because a lot of people don't. What did you learn about yourself while going through the ending of your previous marriage?
God is everything. I believe that through this situation that God was pulling out of me brand new fruits of the Spirit that were there that needed to be developed. There were days where I'll say, God, how long is this gonna last? How long do I gotta suffer? When is this gonna end? Will I ever be happy again? It just felt like a long, drawn-out nightmare that would never end, just from my mom to my husband, waking up like, is this real? Am I dreaming? You learn who your real friends are during a time of crisis. You learn who is really for you, who is really against you. You learn, you know what I'm saying, those that wanted to be around just for this, that, and the other, wanted to be you and wanted to have what you had, you know, during those times.
What would you tell 20-year-old Damita if you could sit next to her right now?
I would tell her, wow, to prepare herself for a life filled with purpose and destiny, but know that it's gonna be some hard times. And let her know that you can, I would let her know that she would be okay, that she would make it, and that her ladder was gonna be greater. And that it's all for a purpose, and that it's all for God's glory.
Amen.
That's what I would tell her.
What was the one song that got you through the difficult times?
Hillsong, Jesus, Culture, and Passion. Michael W. Smith's song, it's Agnes Day. Hallelujah, holy, holy are you, Lord God Almighty. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. You are holy. That song, like, I'm talking about, like, I would just break into pieces. I learned through this situation that how to build another level and another love and another respect and intimacy with God. Like, I live a life now where it's just like, if this don't work, oh, I ain't worried. If I ain't got where the money at, oh, please, God, I said, God, if you pulled me through this and you provided for me and paid my rent and did all of this kind of stuff for me when I don't know how in the world I survived and got through it, and I'm still here, I'm not homeless, I'm not wrecked, I'm not messed up, I'm not a bitter, angry person. So I really thank God.
If you're not already up to speed, gospel's new kid on the block, Marika Chisholm, is winning over audiences with her heavy-hitting alto approach to praise and worship. Her debut album, Simply Worship, presents her as a worshiper in full gear, with no intentions of losing the battle. Chisholm got her start as a popular solid singing alto tucked in the background holding down vocals for a number of local choir directors. It wasn't until she crossed paths with stellar award-winning gospel producer Trent Phillips that she began to flirt with the urge to take her music solo. After the debut of Simply Worship, Ty Scott Records took notice of the national buzz beneath Chisholm, quickly adding her to their artist roster. The record had such standout hits as Hallelujah to the King, Used, and my personal favorite, Desperation. Although she's been stage hopping across the country ever since with no signs of slowing down, we were able to corner her for a couple of hours. This diva for Jesus just doesn't slow down. Since I was having such a rough time catching up with her, I ended up meeting her at a shoe store where she shopped and shopped and then shopped some more. Give us something. I'm just kidding.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that look. So what do you have going on tonight?
Hazelhurst, Georgia.
Hazelhurst.
Uh-huh.
Where's that?
South Georgia, down 75.
Oh, okay,
2
okay.
hours.
Are you doing a full concert, or is as they used to say back in the day, A and B selection?
I'm doing an A and B, and then I'm doing a C.
Okay.
So I'm doing praise and worship, and then I'm doing the sermonic solo
Okay.
right before the preacher gets up.
Ushering in his presence.
Yes. So I think I want to do these.
Okay.
The black ones.
Okay.
And what other pair did we see? We got
The snake one was one that you really liked.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And I have those right here for you and ready to go. So I'll get you bagged up. Good choices too.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yeah. And anytime you need me, you just give me a ring and I'll have some things pulled for you. And anytime I get something new in, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Come on, Zion, put them hands together. We came to give our God some praise. From the rising of the sun to the setting of the same. Hallelujah.
This is Decatur.
Yeah.
Beck. This is where you grew up at? Decatur, where's Greater? So this is where you grew up at, right?
It is my grandparents' house here.
Okay.
They helped raise me, and they've been here for 30-something years.
So, how is it with balancing everything? Your career as an artist, being a mother, being a wife?
It's a lot.
It's a
And
lot.
I would be lying if I said it wasn't. But I'm grateful for my village. You know, they say
Right.
it takes a village. So this is a part of my village, and they are absolutely wonderful and are one call away. And I cannot complain one bit.
So coming back here, is home and family, is that happiness for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. My grandparents live not far from me, and that's on purpose.
Right.
You know, if I need something, I can get in the car and come on around the corner.
Did you ever think that you would be doing what you're doing now?
Absolutely not.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Oh, really?
Yes, I went to school. My major was chemistry, and I thought that I was going to be a pharmacist until about my third year.
And
And
the Lord called you away. Said, no, no.
numbers turned into letters in chemistry class.
Right.
And I said, oh, y'all can have it. So let me go to something else. So I ended up graduating with the major in business management.
Okay.
So I thought I was just going to be in sales. I've been in sales since I was 19 years old. So I thought I was just going to do sales forever. I've been singing background for people, and I used to always say, I don't want to be an artist. That's
Right.
what I said, and then here I am.
And then here you are.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go meet Grandma.
Yeah, come
Granddad.
on. Come on, let's go meet everybody.
So how proud are you of Marika and what she's doing now with her career and where her life is going?
She is allowing the Lord to use her. If she is before 50 people or 500 people,
How was Marika as a kid?
very small. So we had to put her in a private school.
Do you travel with her when she goes out? And
Sometimes.
You help her with the shoes and the makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really have a choice.
I have 2 additional children. Skylar is 5,
Okay.
and Thomas II is 4. No more children for me.
So are you guys going with her today? Or at any point this weekend?
Destiny's coming with me tomorrow for the hat and tea.
All right.
We all got to wear hats. And my mother's going to come, so it's going to be 4 generations of women with hats
With
on.
hats on. That's all right. Destiny, you got your big hat. You know you got to be big.
Absolutely not.
No? You got to have on a hat.
I'll have one on.
But it's got to be big. You got to do the big Kojic church.
Right.
What's next for Marika, the artist?
We want everybody to simply work
Right,
with
right, right.
wherever you are, Japan, Italy, London, wherever you are, we want you to simply worship.
The ATL is a musical garden that has grown some of the biggest and brightest stars in pop music. But most people don't realize just how much new gospel talent is still sprouting up all over Georgia's beautiful backyard. Today, OFFStage proudly introduces you to Cecil Thornton and Transparent.
No ordinary love. That's the only way to describe someone who'd give their precious blood for such a wretch like I. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary blood, but such an extraordinary son. Oh, That's the only way to describe someone who'd give their precious blood for such a wretch like I. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary blood, but such an extraordinary son. No ordinary. Oh, love makes me wonder how this could be. A love that feels good deep down, deep down. Oh, my Lord. A love, how this, a love feels good deep down on the inside. Oh, my Lord. Oh, oh, oh. No ordinary, no ordinary, no ordinary, no ordinary, no ordinary, ordinary love.
Jehovah Jireh, yes, He is. God my provider, yes, He is. Jehovah Nissi, yes, He is.
OFFStage. Living in a place of praise, living to spread the word, living to tell everybody
All about the gospel,
so thankful for my family,
and I'm blessed with so many friends.
and then there's the music.
This is who I am.
OFFStage.
If you really want to know me, you should come find